Welcome to the Backup Level Up podcast. I'm Khoshaba from Rewind, live from Atlassian Team's 26 in Anaheim, California, talking with founders, executives, and professionals about setbacks, incidents, and inflection points that shape how modern teams build, scale, and come back stronger in the age of AI and DevOps. Hi, I'm here with Britton from Cooper's AquaArmor. Britton, can you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yeah. So Cooper's AquaArmor is a specialty swimsuit line for children. It is tailored specifically more towards boys than girls because that's really where the market share is lacking. But it is a vibrant hue of neon that allows children to be seen more easily and faster in and around water.
That's great. So what's something you genuinely enjoy most about working at Cooper's AquaArmor?
Well, it's my company. It stems from some deep rabbit hole research as a pregnant mom. I grew up terrified of the water, and I did not want that fear to pass on to my son. And so I started learning everything I could about water safety, and I even had my husband teach me to swim. And I discovered some research that really kind of scared me. And when I showed it to my husband at 3 o'clock in the morning, it scared him. I literally woke him up and I was like, "Do you know this?" And he was like, "It makes sense." Because he spent 10 years in the Coast Guard as an officer. So he did search and rescue. Plays into our story. And I said, well, this is not okay. So I started looking for neon swimsuits, vibrant, bright swimsuits. I was really disappointed to find out that neon yellow was actually like school bus yellow or roadside yellow. And that's not really neon. Yes, it's bright, but that kind of yellow, if it still goes deep into the water, it still eventually blends in. And so you need a very specific hue of neon to have maximum visibility.
Wow.
And that just wasn't available. It was for girls, but it wasn't for boys.
Interesting.
And yeah, so I just love being able to help educate other parents and provide some really fun swimsuits for little boys. Because who says boys can't wear pink?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So let's rewind a little bit. I know you already touched on this a little bit, Britton, but what originally pulled you into this space or this industry? So you did touch about the research and then waking your husband up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Originally it started out as we were not comfortable with that for Cooper, but all of our friends have little ones too. Like our friend group got pregnant all at the same time. And then we started thinking like our nieces and nephews, that wasn't okay for us, for them either. And so I jokingly said to my husband, well, why don't we do it? And started out as a joke. And then he looked at me one day and said, you get a bonus from your day job. We can invest. We can do it. And so we did.
That's amazing. So was that the specific moment where this shifted from an interest into something you actually wanted to seriously pursue?
Yeah, it did. We wanted to protect not only our son, but all of our other future children and all of our nieces and nephews and friends' children's. And we just couldn't do that with the swimsuits on the market. So we filled the gap, or we're trying to fill the gap.
That's so interesting. So how did you go from that initial idea to something real, like your first sale, your first product, or any meaningful traction?
Believe it or not, I had a lot of conversations with ChatGPT.
Of course, we all do.
Me too. So my husband and I sat down and together we asked ChatGPT to help us figure out how to break into the fashion world. And then, of course, keeping the human in the loop, we then did our own verification. But my husband, being Coast Guard, he also had a lot of really insightful information to provide from having experience as a search and rescue officer.
For sure.
And so what we started to do then was we started researching manufacturers who specialized in swimwear. But not only that, had neon available. Because we want it to be readily available. We wanted it to be made in the United States. So that was also very important to us. And then we wanted them to actually know what they're doing because we know that we didn't. And so we had narrowed it down to 5 companies, and then we interviewed them. I interviewed them, my husband interviewed them, and then we sat down and we analyzed our thoughts and we narrowed it down to 2. and it came down to price. Since we decided to self-fund, we went with the less expensive of the two manufacturers, with the intent of moving to the more expensive when we were in the green.
Yeah, that's so interesting. So looking back, what was harder than you expected at that stage?
Balancing. I was a new mother. We had an infant at the time, and I was starting to get back to my day job and trying to start up this company. And so
Super mom.
I tried. I definitely tried. But, you know, we found our rhythm. We found our dedication, a dedicated time to do it. But it was definitely a lot slower than we originally wanted. It took us almost a year to really get
Things going
off the ground. Yeah.
So what did you have to learn quickly?
I definitely had to learn the language. I definitely had to learn the ins and outs. Understanding something as simple as inseams and the length and the variety that there is, and pocket placement and drawstrings and grommets or no grommets. And so really learning the language and the impact of all those different things is what I had to learn fast.
It's a totally new industry for you, right?
Yes, new industry, new lingo.
So let's focus on the turning point here. What was the moment when things really started to click for you? Was it a decision, a hire, a market shift? What actually changed the trajectory of your business?
When we got our first prototype, and we had our prototype sized for our son. So he was our first model, our first test baby. But also, my son is very uniquely shaped. He is much larger than his peers in the sense that he's broader and taller, but his height and his broadness are not proportional. So he's broad like a 4-year-old, but he's only as tall as a 3-year-old. And so we had it was so much fun working with our manufacturers on his body type, because we know so many other kids like that. And so it was just cool to have it in our hands and be like, this is real. This is happening. And then once we had them on Cooper and approved, we were able to start social media and like actually start putting it out there. And our friends were like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. When you have your product, let us know. We'll buy. And so, yeah, I think that was our turning point.
That's great. Was there a risk that you took that in hindsight made a disproportionate impact?
Yeah, so we did two. We took a risk on taking the less expensive manufacturer, and although we've really appreciated working with them for the last year and a half, we're not going to pursue that relationship anymore. There's just been some quality issues and some lack of communication issues that if we want this to be as successful as we want, we can't have that. The other one that we did was I did not research platforms enough. And I am now having to go back and rebuild my infrastructure on a different platform.
Interesting.
Which is taking longer than I expected, but it's going to be worth the time investment.
Is that website?
Yes. So I believed the YouTubers that I watch, with Squarespace being like the platform, having bought from their websites, I really liked Squarespace as an end user. But from an infrastructure perspective, if I'm going to sell on Amazon, Walmart, TikTok, they don't integrate with Squarespace, but Shopify does. So I'm currently in the process of redoing everything within Shopify. Perfect. So I have a centralized inventory.
Yeah, they're great. Shopify's great. And on the flip side, what's something you did early on that you would never do again?
Make my husband half owner. No, I'm kidding. I love my husband. He knows this. I joke all the time. No, but I think I probably wouldn't have been so granular in my decisions. I think I would have been willing to take a few more risks. Our first year and a half, we were just investing and investing and investing and investing. And it got to the point where it's like, okay, at what point is it going to start coming back in? We're well into the start of our third year. And, we got to do a pop-up shop at the mall, and we had a bunch of sales. That's and got great. A bunch of email signups. And so I think we're finally at the point where it's like, okay, we're going to eventually see the return on investment. But I think I just took too long to get here. I think I was too cautious because of my knowledge gap.
Yeah, but that's natural, right? You're investing all this time, money, and effort. You want to make sure you do your due diligence, right? So.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I agree.
Let's focus on the level up. So what's one lesson that fundamentally changed how you operate today?
I would say it's not always about the product, it's about the story.
Mm-hmm.
Like when people hear that this all came from the fact that I was trying to overcome a childhood fear that I didn't want to put on my son,
Mm-hmm.
it makes it more relatable,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm a mom trying to add protection to our kids so they can do something that they love.
For sure.
And that's something that other parents can relate to. That's what grandmothers can relate to because they want that for their kids. And so I think sometimes your personal life is your business.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, it is. But I used to always be very much business, personal.
Mm-hmm.
But in this case, they are the same.
That's so inspiring. That's awesome. So Britton, if someone is trying to get into that next level right now and step into the same, business as you, or even your career,
Yeah.
what should they focus on that actually moves the needle? So if there's one piece of advice you could give our watchers and our listeners, what would it be?
Have the passion for what you're going to do, even if you don't know anything about it, right? Like I knew nothing about the fashion industry, but I was passionate about keeping my son safe and letting him have fun. And that passion has let me deal with a lot of frustrations, but it's kept me going and not giving up. And if you don't have that foundational ingrained passion, it's going to be so much easier for you to give up. It's going to be so much easier for you to be like, you know what, I'm done.
For sure.
But it takes time and it takes years for businesses to actually get up and going.
For sure. Absolutely.
It's the long game. It's not a...
Totally, right? Yeah. So where can people connect with you and learn more about what you're doing?
Yeah. So they can go to our website, AquaArmor.com. I spell it the American way. And you can also email me at CAA@aquaarmorswim.com.
That's great. And what's next? Anything exciting on the horizon that you can share that's happening with Cooper AquaArmor?
Yeah. So we just released our Big Kids line. So our infant line is from 3 months to 24 months.
Okay.
Then we have a toddler line from 18 months to 6 years old. And then our Big Kids line, which is 7 years old to about 13 years old. So we just released that 2 weeks ago. And in honor of pool opening season in the next 2 weeks, we're having a big Memorial Day sale.
Oh, wow.
So all swimsuits are $5 off right now, and I ship internationally.
That's great. Any new exciting colors or any styles?
So the Big Kids line is neon green, yellow, and orange, with our toddler line being neon pink, green, and yellow. And then our infant line is pink and green.
That's so awesome. Well, Britton, thank you so much for being on the podcast. So inspiring to hear your story. I'm super excited to see what's next for Cooper AquaArmor and your career. Thank you so much. Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Sure.